of all the revelations I've seen about Meghan Markle recently, the one from the Harper's Bazaar interview, where she does this sort of weirdly stark cover. But it's one of the quotes in there, which is that I'll read what the Harper's Bazaar journalist said, that when I enter, the house manager announces Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, even though we appear to be the only other two people in the house. Yeah. I mean, there's that moment alone, right? The utter delusion of this person.
Yeah, it's a very grand and frankly unnecessary introduction. You know, when you particularly consider, and the many times I met Harry, he never wanted to be, you know, the Duke of Sussex or Prince. He just was like, call me Harry. But of course, with Meghan, it's not the same, and you know, she capitalises on that title as often as she can, whether it's promoting her Netflix series or letter writing or whatever it might be. So on the one hand, you've got this woman on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. I have to say, I think she looks incredibly beautiful. It's a stunning shoot. I love the sort of minimalist makeup look. I like this idea, this message that she's sending out about being sort of perfectly imperfect and knocking herself down a little bit, which I think people have probably been keen to see.
But
the whole thing is undone by that anecdote at the start by the journalist revealing this fascinating detail that she is introduced that way.
Also, Kinsey, we bring Kinsey back here. She also says in an interview, I like the community of work and the connection. I think a lot of it is in my DNA. This is the same Duchess of Sussex who fled, actually, work with the British community, for which she gets her title of Duchess of Sussex, doesn't do any official royal duties at all, but resides in California, where she was from, and makes literally hundreds of millions of dollars trading off her royal status without doing anything for it. I mean, that to me is just blatant hypocrisy again, and has been the cornerstone of my criticism of the pair of them since they left, which is, it's fine. If you want to leave, fine. Leave the royal family. It's no problem. You don't have to be. You don't have to hold a gun to your head. But what you can't do is trash the royal family, trash the monarchy on every platform you can get your hands on, and trade at the same time off your royal status and titles, including being introduced as you walk into a private home as Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. It's all baloney.
Well, I think that this is the perfect opportunity for me to ask you where I can send you my gift, my as ever cookies for you this Christmas.
Somebody sent me a bottle of the wine as a joke, and it was completely... I am a bit of a wine connoisseur. It was... To say it was the opposite of a Chateau Latour would be the understatement.
What a shame to Piers Morgan, honestly. What a monumental, almost cinematic embarrassment to watch a grown man with decades in media spiral once again, because Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, was introduced by her title in Harper's Bazaar. The title the royal family itself gave her, the title the monarchy affirmed, the title that exists in black and white constitutional reality. Yet here is Piers, acting as if Meghan sat on a throne she made out of cardboard and declared herself royalty in her backyard. He discusses her introduction as though it were a crime scene, examining every syllable with the obsession of someone who simply cannot function unless Meghan Markle's name is rolling around on his tongue like a cough drop he refuses to spit out. What a spectacle. What an embarrassment. What a self-inflicted meltdown that reveals more about him than anything he could ever attempt to reveal about Meghan. Every time Piers Morgan speaks about Meghan, the world witnesses the same exhausted performance, the same strained outrage, the same trembling frustration, the same recycled bitterness, wearing the same old shoes. A man who claims he doesn't care somehow cares more than anyone on the planet. A man who insists he has moved on is somehow glued to her shadow. His obsession is not subtle, not hidden, not coded. It is as clear as daylight. It is a permanent feature of his personality now. It defines him more than any award he has won, more than any show he has hosted, more than any opinion he has ever published. His identity today is not journalist, not broadcaster, not interviewer. His identity is simply this: Piers Morgan, professional Meghan Markle commentator, a role he created, auditioned for, accepted, and chained himself to, with no signs of retirement in sight. But let us return to the foolishness at hand. Imagine waking up one morning and deciding that Meghan Markle being introduced by her rightful title is grand and unnecessary. Imagine being so determined to find fault in her every breath that even protocol becomes a threat. Her introduction is not dramatic. It is standard. It is normal. It is factual. There is no scandal here. There is no controversy. There is no wrongdoing. There is only a title Meghan legally holds, a title she never forced upon anyone, a title the palace gave her. Yet Piers Morgan, master of melodrama, makes it sound like Meghan climbed through Buckingham Palace windows at midnight and carved Duchess of Sussex into the walls with a diamond. It is almost comical to watch him pretend this is about titles or formality or monarchy. It is none of those things. What bothers him, deeply, intensely, permanently, is that Meghan continues to exist outside the box he built for her. He cannot handle that she lives freely. He cannot accept that she continues to build a life filled with joy, work, progress, family, and peace, while refusing to give him even a fraction of her attention. That is the true trigger. That is the real wound. He screams about titles because he cannot scream the real sentence, the one that trembles behind all his rants. Why does she not acknowledge me? The truth is simple. The bitterness is not about royalty. It is about rejection. And the pain of that rejection has manifested into a years-long obsession that he fuels with relentless commentary masquerading as journalism. He does not critique Meghan because she is wrong. He critiques her because he cannot stand that she does not need him. So he grabs the nearest excuse, any excuse, even something as insignificant as a job title, and uses it to create another performance of outrage. A title becomes a weapon. A harmless introduction becomes a battlefield. And the only person harming himself in this battle is Piers. His behaviour exposes him far more than it affects Meghan. She has her life, her family, her career, her purpose. She wakes up in the morning and tends to her children, her projects, her work, her commitments. She does not think about Piers Morgan. She does not mention his name. She does not address his claims. She does not respond to his jabs. She does not counter his narratives. She does not acknowledge his existence in the public arena. And it is precisely this silence, this glorious, powerful silence, that eats him alive. Because Piers Morgan is a man who relies on reaction, on engagement, on echo, on response. He needs someone to clap back so he can feel relevant. He needs someone to argue with so he can maintain the illusion of importance. Meghan denies him this. She denies him the oxygen he craves. So he gasps for air by creating constant controversy. He snatches her name like a lifeline, using it to inflate his segments, boost his ratings, and maintain his visibility. Without Meghan Markle, the man would have nothing new to say. His commentary would collapse into a pile of repetitive political cliches and tired culture war lines. His obsession has become so intense that people now wonder if Meghan is the sun and Piers Morgan is a lost planet orbiting her for warmth. Whenever she achieves something, he materializes out of thin air to critique it. Whenever she releases something, he sprints to his studio chair as if Meghan's existence is a fire alarm only he can hear. Whenever her name trends, he is suddenly everywhere. In interviews, in social media clips, in pundit panels, frothing with the same old talking points. A man who claims to not care has memorized her every move with encyclopedic precision. A man who insists she is irrelevant has built an entire media universe around her presence. It would be comedic if it weren't so tragic. A woman moves on, builds a peaceful life, focuses on service, kindness, philanthropy, and creativity. And a grown man with a massive platform cannot stop tearing his hair out because her title appears in print. He frames her introduction as a threat to tradition, as if the monarchy did not approve it. He acts as though Meghan personally ordered a royal trumpet procession to announce her entrance, when all she did was appear in an article as who she is. The delusion is astronomical, and this is why the world laughs at Piers Morgan's obsession. Not because criticism is bad, everyone is allowed to critique public figures, but because this is not criticism. This is fixation, personal, emotional, obsessive, repetitive fixation, This is a man who has tethered his career to a person who does not engage with him. This is a man whose commentary is powered by resentment, not analysis. This is a man who has become a cautionary tale, the embodiment of what happens when pettiness becomes a profession. No one forces Piers Morgan to talk about Meghan. No contract requires it. No law demands it. No viewer is begging for it. He does it because he cannot stop himself. His ego cannot bear the thought of Meghan succeeding, thriving, smiling, growing, or simply existing without him inserting himself into the narrative. So he takes whatever scraps of Meghan-related news appear online and spins them into a dramatic monologue. Today it's her title. Tomorrow it will be her shoes. Next week it will be her handwriting. The pattern never stops. There is something almost poetic about the asymmetry. Meghan does nothing, literally nothing, and Piers Morgan reacts like he has been personally wronged. Meghan lives her life peacefully, privately, joyfully, and Piers Morgan behaves as if she has committed a global offence by not collapsing under criticism. Meghan uses her title because it is hers, and Piers Morgan acts as if she stole the crown jewels. Meghan speaks in interviews about her experiences, and Piers Morgan acts as if she declared war on the British Empire. If he truly wants peace of mind, if he truly wants rest, if he truly wants sanity, there is only one path forward. He must let her name go, release it from his spirit, remove it from his tongue, detach it from his ego, put it in a box and bury it. Because the longer he clings to this obsession, the more the world sees the truth, that the only grand and unnecessary spectacle here is his reaction, not her introduction. Piers Morgan has become the author of his own humiliation. He built it, he shaped it, he fed it, he maintained it, and every time he opens his mouth to attack Meghan, he deepens it. His rants do not damage Meghan, they damage him. They expose the fragility of his arguments, the weakness of his analysis, the pettiness of his motivations, and the emptiness at the centre of his obsession. If he wanted to avoid embarrassment, he would simply keep her name out of his commentary. But he cannot. He is addicted to the attention her name brings him. So here we are, watching the same circus, the same tired routine, the same repetitive rage, the same desperate grasping at Meghan's title. The world has moved on. Meghan has moved on. Harry has moved on. Even the royal family has moved on. But Piers Morgan, he remains stuck in a loop of his own making, circling around Meghan like a moth trapped in a lampshade, burning his wings while insisting he is fine. What a shame to Piers Morgan indeed. What a shame to witness a man with a long career reduced to this. What a shame to see his relevance depend on Meghan Markle's name. What a shame that he cannot escape the obsession he created. What a shame that instead of evolving, he chose fixation. What a shame that the only consistent thing in his commentary is bitterness. What a shame that he cannot allow a woman to exist without tearing her down. What a shame that he cannot handle her strength. What a shame that he cannot accept her title. What a shame that he cannot find peace. And what a shame that despite all his noise, Meghan continues to rise, gracefully, powerfully, effortlessly, proving that his words can do nothing but echo into irrelevance.
And that wraps our Daily Diaries updates. Harry and Meghan. Always keep the world talking. And if you enjoy this update, do not forget to like, share, subscribe. And for more royalty subs with honesty, just right here on Daily Diaries Friday. Till next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep shining. See you next time with more royal news and good vibe. Bye bye.